Hey fellow gamers, Chatty Sisa here. This is the second part of my July update on the Dragon Age the Veilguard new game, which will be coming out in fall from BioWare. This is a comprehensive summary. I had to split it to two vids so that it's more feasible for you to watch, and I will be linking the first part by the end of this vid, so you can check it out there. It will also have all the necessary links and description and information, so you can find it there as well in the description field below. I just wanted to stress out on this spot that this is my personal subjective view. Of course, the information that I'm sharing, which is written on the screen, is the details that the game devs have been sharing with us. But aside from that, my comments and observations will be something that's my own personal thoughts. I know that they might not be to everyone's liking, but again, as I've said in the first part, I'm not here neither to overly praise the game nor to bash it completely. I will definitely highlight what is positive on the game and on the information that we have received so far, but I will also not shy away from pointing out things that I do not like and which I think are also something that many other players at this point have a problem with and are not so fond of. So please be aware that this will be a summary that will include both positives and negatives. We've also got through the Game Informer exclusive articles further details from the game devs regarding the difficulty presets, and as you can see we will have 4 difficulty presets. Storyteller, which is basically the easy mode, it is story focused rather than combat centric. Then we have Adventurer, which is the normal mode, and that's a balanced experience of story and combat. I would say that's the normal standard RPG experience. Nightmare will be the hardest difficulty option and permanent once selected. And then you have Unbound, which is fully customizable for the players to fine-tune options to their liking. I was quite intrigued when I was seeing this one, so that means also again further plus points for a replay and a good replay value, because you can not just adjust items in the game and characters and everything, but you can even adjust the difficulty settings and you can really tweak them around the way you would like to have it. The possible adjustments are combat timing to make parrying easier or harder depending on what you like, aim assist, auto aim, how much damage enemies do and how much damage you do to them by adjusting their health, etc. Auto assist or auto aim and the aim assist, I think that will be important for the archers. I know that the archery skills that you had in the previous Dragon Age games were a little bit lacking in this department, and it was especially hard to play with a controller. So this will hopefully help the people to, choose more often maybe the archers instead of going for mages or warriors. We have also the no death option available, which we can turn on, and the difficulty is changeable at any point during the game, excluding Nightmare. So once you choose the hardest difficulty, you will have to stick with that one until the end of the game, or you will have to start a new game. That is nothing new for many RPGs, so this is quite the standard. The no death option, again, this is something where I am a little bit, let's say negatively surprised that this is even an option. Let me say, okay, yeah, I am aware it is an option, so you don't have to use that if you don't want to, which is perfectly fine. I guess most of the players will not, but if you include something like no death option, what's the point then of playing this RPG or even setting some of the difficulties if you cannot die? The RPG system or the way how RPGs are played is to make sure that you try to finish the game against your opponents without dying, but through your skill, through trying to evolve your skills as a player and also as the character in the game, and not just simply go straight ahead through the game and doing all sorts of nonsense because you know that you cannot die anyway. defeats the point for me. So honestly, this is something where I'm not really fond of that idea. But okay, I guess it's perfect for some new players that will try to play an RPG for the first time. But normally I would say that's what the easy mode is for. And the no death option, yeah, like I said, it defeats the purpose for me. So it's kind of weird. There are new information also on the armor and gear. Something's good, something's not so great, but in general I do like the info that we've got here. So Rook's customization will be possible via 1 armor slot, 1 helmet, 1 belt, 1 amulet, 2 weapon slots and 2 ring slots. And I think that's exactly what we had also in the previous games. So you have enough options to improve either the armor stats or weapon stats, etc. And then we have heard, or the game devs have revealed, that the companions will have 1 armor slot, 1 ring slot, and 1 accessory slot, and 1 weapon slot. And here we see again what I call a downgrade, because as far as I remember, they had 2 ring slots at least. And I'm not sure if they also didn't have a helmet slot. So this one is a step back from what we were able to upgrade previously. And I think it's a shame. So yeah, let's see what kind of effect it will have in the game. There's aspirational armor available, and you can see it already in the character creator, which is important to know what mid to high level gear looks like for your class. So we're talking about specifically class-related armor here. My question here is, I mean, this is a great feature. This is something which is very important for us to know, and it's a bonus point, so this is definitely great. But my question, because the experience from other RPGs or in general from gaming, is that if you have some specific or special armor that you have available, usually it is available very late in the game. And my question here will be how late we are going to get that one. If you have a game which has, let's say, 80 or 80 plus hours, and you get the best possible armor in the last 1 hour, then it's not really something that people appreciate. This was already the case in multiple other games. And I think it would be important to make sure that we have the chance to get the highest level armor a little bit earlier and be able to play at least a portion of the game with the best gear. You can toggle Rook's starting gear and casual wear in the character creator as well, which is great to see what you can look like in more laid-back cutscenes. Again, this is a good thing and a bonus point, and I really like that because you were not able to do that in the previous games. So this one is great. As I mentioned previously, the armor that we have a lot of it is tied to the class that we choose for our Rook. So you won't be able, for example, to wear a mage's robe if you're a warrior. But I think based on the experience from the previous games, you have so many armors or robes available that you don't really, don't need to look at the other classes, what they are having. I think you should be fine here. Each companion has their own unique armors, and I have noticed here a plural. Now, I'm not sure if that is intentional or if it's just like a typo, but if it's intentional, that means we will have more options for the armors, and I really like this idea. It will, again, be something where you can see more changes for your companions throughout the game, and they will not run around all the time in the same stuff, not the same armor, just like they hopefully will not have all the same leisure wear. So this is a good info. And for me, like I previously mentioned, the biggest negative that I have seen, now this is the biggest positive I have seen from all the information that we've got, and that's the transmog system. Now, in case you don't know what this means, I am explaining it a little bit here. So Imagine you are wearing an armor that you like from a visual perspective, but it doesn't really have great stats. The moment you find or buy some new armor which has much better stats but doesn't really look so great, you can actually pick those stats from that new armor and just apply them to your existing gear, which means you don't have to change them, and visually it will still remain the same appealing armor which you want to wear, and you don't have to switch just because you need to level up or get better stats on your gear. So this is, I think, something which I would actually wish more companies would use in their games, and which they should probably apply to more of the RPGs. I will remind, for those of you who have, for example, played The Witcher 3, I will remind you of the Griffin armor. That was a pain to look at because it did have good stats, but Geralt was looking like a fat old man in that armor, and it really didn't suit a monster hunter or a witcher. So in this case, if there would be a feature like a transmog system there, it would have been absolutely perfect. So this is something which I really appreciate. I was missing this in so many games previously in the previous years, and I would really wish that this would be applied going forward in the future to more games. So this is really something where I'm very happy about it. And then we have, for example, belts which can improve things like the effectiveness of healing potions, and even if you have it like on a higher level, you can have added effects and get, for example, temporarily invulnerable. So this is great. So it is leveled up. We've received a ton of information on the character creator from the game devs, so let's go through all of the details that we have so far currently. The character creator is so robust and extensive that it was used to create even most of the NPCs in the game, and that's something to say. I am really hoping that this will be reflected in the game, in the sense that when you walk across a town or a village, that not every third, fourth or fifth face will be the same. So I'm hoping that we will get to see many different faces here, and I hope that this will be much better than, for example, Mass Effect Andromeda, where we have seen the Asari having one and the same face, all of them, I think, aside from PB. So this is something where I'm having the feeling this might have a very positive impact on the game. The Dragon Age series is the best character creator yet, according to Game Informer, who tested it. So the exclusive article which I have read is saying that they were trying to create a character for more than an hour, which I think resembles closely the experiences that most RPG players are having. This is a very important part of your game, so I'm really happy that we will have many options here. We have 4 races to choose from: elves, Kunari, humans and dwarves. And I really love the fact that you have multiple options here for each of them. It will be explained a little bit later. We can see our Rook in 4 different lighting scenes, including the Veilguard's purple hue, a bright and sunny day, and a gothic night. And I think this is also a huge plus point here for the character creator. Not once did it happen to me in other games or the previous Dragon Age games that I have created a character. I was quite happy with it in the character creator, but that one had like a static light, and once you started to play the game, you actually realized, oof, yeah, that character is not really looking so great in, let's say, daylight, or it's not looking so great from a certain angle. So this is something that should be helpful for us, not having to repeat that creation process multiple times. And then the head and body presets can be selected individually and customized with 40 different complexions. So you have an option to choose separately a head and separately a body, and I really like that. And we have multiple different complexions like smooth, rugged, youthful, etc. that one is very good. And then on the next page, which we have the information that the skin tones can be, for example, freckled. The skin hues are ranging from cool through neutral to warm undertones, including a melanin slider. So people will have really a ton of options here to choose from. There are plenty of sliders, I would say the standard ones for forehead, brow, cheeks, jaw, chin, larynx, and scalp. So I'm guessing this is something that's almost in every RPG. What is something that is unusual, a little bit unusual here is, as this is a mature RPG, you can choose nudity and not just undergarments. That means you can already adjust this setting in the character creator, and you can choose to for example, have your character be at home naked, I'm guessing, or at least the upper body. It wasn't specified exactly what BioWare understands under nudity. I said previously in my vid that I do have some reservations here because, yeah, nudity, I don't know, it's BioWare, okay? So let's wait until the game comes out and we'll see what do they understand under nudity. It's definitely not for me the most important bit, but if they already mentioned it, I'm curious to see what they understand with that. We do have one great feature, which is the adjustable height, and I believe this is great if you want to play as a dwarf. It would really not make much sense if you would not be able to adjust the height and you can still choose to be a dwarf and you would suddenly be the same height as a human or an elf. I mean, that would probably break the immersion and it would just look ridiculous. So this is really great that we have the option to do this. I am aware that it must have been very complicated to apply this in the game. So I would say this is something which is really great, and I can see the amount of work that went into the game here, at least on this point for sure. We can adjust shoulder width, chest size, etc., etc., earlobes, noses, endless possibilities. And the last point here on this page is we have the ability to choose pronouns separate from gender. Now, I will put it this way. I am, like I said, a little bit a more traditional person. I don't care about these modern day pronouns. If it's an ability, so if I decide not to choose one, it will be just automatically assigned based on the gender that I'm having in the game. I'm fine. I guess it's a huge bonus point for many people who want to choose different pronouns irrelevant from their gender. Yeah, but don't make it mandatory, because that would be just awful for, I would say, most of the based players. We have options for makeup, tattoos, scars and paints as well, like multiple ones, and I guess there will be a huge amount of possibilities. There are some unique features, as mentioned here. There will be some tattoos which are just specifically for elves, for example, and some of these features can be relevant to some lineages. So I guess if you're, I don't know, a dwarf, you probably will not be able to pick an elven tattoo, but we don't know. So that's a little question mark here for me. Aside from that, I think it's great that we see so many options. What is also something that made me really very, very happy, because this is something that I have been modding in every single game so far. Whenever I was playing a female character, I was looking for long hairstyles, and there was no other way usually in the games previously than to apply a mod. And of course you had the problems with the clipping, etc. Now we have a new Frostbite engine, and it will allow us to have long hairstyles without clipping, and it will be looking natural when the character is moving. We could see that already partially in the gameplay showcase, where we have seen characters with long hairstyles. So this is a very, very positive point for me, and I'm guessing for a ton of other people as well. What was surprising for me was the Kunari horns can be created with 40 different options. I don't know if I would create a Kunari, how long I would spend then in the character creator if I get so many options. The last steps in the character creator is the choice of the class. We have the 3 standard options, which is the warrior, mage, or rogue. And then we have the 6 factions, which were mentioned already previously in my previous vid in more detail. So if you select a first and last name for your rook, it will have an impact as well, like what faction you are choosing. It's already a bonus point again for me that you can select both first and last name. So it will make, again, the playing and your own rook more unique. So this one's really great. And you have the option to choose from 4 voices in English. It will be British English male and British English female, and then American English male and American English female. And it even has a pitch shifter, so you should be able to shift the pitch and adjust even more individually your character. And in case you are still not happy with it, so you create a character, you start the game and you realize, okay, I forgot something and I want to tweak here, let's say the hair more or the voice more, etc. You will still have the option through the mirror of transformation in the lighthouse that will allow you to change your rook's appearance. You will not be able to change the class, lineage and identity, those will be fixed, but the appearance should be adjustable with all of the options that you have in the creator as well. So this is really good news, and I really like the character creator. This is one of the very positive points which I have seen about the game. Just a quick self-promo here on this spot. If you like this vid, please don't forget to check out the rest of my channel. I have also some game reviews, playthroughs and various news updates which you might find interesting. And if you like the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and also the bell icon, and you will be notified every time when I upload a new vid. Thanks a lot already in advance. Now on the next 2 slides we have more information which the games director from BioWare has revealed. The game has the most fully realized complex companions that they have ever crafted. There are many optimistic moments in the game, but also times where it gets painful and quite dark. Let me stop here for a moment. There are many optimistic moments in the game, but also times where it gets painful and quite dark. I would normally say in a Dragon Age game, at least previously, it was the other way around. So there were many painful and quite dark moments, and then there were some optimistic ones as well. Now, this seems to be a shift in the game setting. I'm not sure if this is correct, how I am reading it, but if it is, then it would make sense considering the trailer that we have seen, where, as I have said, some of the characters or new companions do look like more like comedy relief characters. And I would also not entirely say that these are the most fully realized complex companions they've ever crafted. If I just again think back on the original Mass Effect trilogy, I will be honest, it will be hard to trump some of those companions which have been there in those games. So I'm a bit skeptical here, I will be honest. The companions are the participants, not just being individuals, but representing entire factions. And that would make sense. I'm pretty sure that the history or their cultural background will have an impact on how they perceive the world and how they go forward in the dialogues with other characters and what their opinions are on certain matters. So this one makes sense, and it is good. I'm looking forward to see how much this will be affecting the game or the communication that Rook will have with each of those companions. So it might be interesting. And from a gameplay perspective or combat perspective, there are lots of possible combos between companions that you can set up. We already discussed that, so we can set up massive detonations with enhanced effects that debuff the entire battlefield. And the world exists even when Rook is not around. And I'm guessing that this is something that will have an impact maybe on the quests as well. So there will be things happening in the background, whether we like it or not, and whether Rook is part of them or not. My thought here is maybe we will have some timed quests that we will have to like fulfill within a certain time, or maybe until a certain point in the game. Yeah, this one sounds interesting. It's quite cryptic, so we'll see what this means in the game. Each of our companions will have their own room and space in the lighthouse, and as the game will progress, these rooms and the companions' personalities will evolve, which will be also influenced by our interaction, where trust will play a role. So it will be important also how much you talk to them and in what way, and this is an important part of the entire interaction. Some companions may fall in love with each other if Rook does not show interest. So here in this game, they will not simply sit around and wait for your main character to decide whether he or she wants to romance them. It's nice to see that the world doesn't stop when Rook doesn't do anything. There will be complex choices that will affect our relationship with each member of the team and their fate. You have to be careful whom you bring to some quests. And that one makes me a little bit wary. I wonder if we get at least some hint before we start a quest, either through some dialogue options or through some background information, what might happen, or maybe what type of companion would not be suitable for that quest. So yeah, it's this one will be interesting, and I'm pretty sure that some people will find out the hard way when we lose our companions during some of the quests. We have 2 rogues as companions. These are Harding and Lucanis. We have 2 warriors, Davrin and Taj, and we have 3 mages, Belara, Emmerich, Neve, and they are available to be picked. Always 2 of them, as mentioned before, so it might be a good idea when we are going to level them up to think about how they can cooperate with the other half of your team or the other portion of your team, and maybe combine them in this way. We have some more in-depth information on each of those companions. As you can see, this is from the Dragon Age wiki, so you can find these details there as well. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm pretty sure that you have the information already also from other sources, but it's good to have a look at what faction each of them is representing when you are going to create your own character in the character creator and want to decide which class you want to play, and then also what background you are going to choose. Now, last but not least, we've got some information on the romances from BioWare. They are saying that this will be their most romantic game yet. Each companion will have a relationship level tied to Rook, affected by all of our choices in the world. So for me, that means it's not based just on individual interactions, but it will be affected also if you are, for example, doing a quest and you have a tough decision in that quest that will be impacting one of your companions. They will naturally react to that as well. We can improve the relationships with them over time, and every time we do so, when let's say we level up, we get a skill point that we can spend on each of these companions. And this is, aside from XP and the standard skill points, another way how to level up the companions. So this will be an interesting system. The question is if it also goes the other way around, so if we can like de-level and de-scope, and if there will be any negative repercussions. So that's something where I have a question mark here. The friendships are also an important aspect, not just romances, and conversations can affect your standing with them. And I really like this one because lately in some of the games, whenever you had a romance system or romance options, there was no such thing as the bromances or true friendships. Every time when you were just talking nicely to someone, you automatically triggered some kind of romance. And it was just annoying when you just try to be a nice character. Just because I'm talking nicely to someone doesn't mean that I want to bang them, right? So yeah, this is something that will be definitely a plus point if really the friendships are working aside from the romances. The romances will be all different. Some characters are straight to the point, while others have never been in a relationship before and can be a little awkward, just like in real life. So this one should be interesting and it should be fun with some of the characters. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see like who's going to be which type here. It might be fun to watch even if you are not interested, as your rook is not interested, but there probably will be interactions between the characters which we can observe, and that should be quite a lot of fun. The companions are pansexual. They can be attracted to you regardless of your rook's gender or other NPCs. I guess if rook is not interested, it will be fun to observe what's going on in the background, especially if there are some shy ones that will be trying to flirt. They can also form romances with each other, like we said before. And in general, the relationships between characters, not just romantic ones, will play a large part as they need to trust they all have each other's back. I'm wondering, again, like here, whether there can be any negative repercussions if there is something where one character might be doing or saying something that might anger another character if they are together, for example, in a party that you are taking together with you to a quest. So that was something similar also in the previous games, and yeah, it was, you had to be careful how you plan your companions or the party that you're taking with you. There are, for example, romantically inclined emotional responses in rooks, dialogue choices to start flirting, to change platonic relationships into romantic ones. So it's nice to see that it will be not just like, hey, let's bang, but it will be probably a slow progress, starting with flirting and then, you know, talking a little bit more and then, you know, getting to know each other a little bit better. So that one should be, let's say, spread evenly across the whole game. And I think it would be nice to see that. Some romances will be spicy and there's nudity in the game, probably in the romantic cutscenes. I did talk about this already previously. And yeah, BioWare and spicy, I will just repeat myself, but this just doesn't go well together. I'm not sure what BioWare understands under spicy. Yeah. I will be looking forward to this, really, and just merely out of curiosity, what does BioWare understand under spicy? Because it would be very uncommon if it would be something on the level of, let's say, CDPR's Witcher 2. And there's nudity in the game. We are aware of that from the character creator. Now the question is, like I said, how much and what BioWare understands under nudity. But again, it's not something that should be the most important part, and it's not something that should be the main focus of advertising your game. So it's a nice thing to know. But I think there are other features that the people are now very interested in and would love to hear about, namely a little bit more about the gameplay and more about some of the skills. And then there's the question, of course, after all this information, what's next? As you can see on the screen, the San Diego Comic-Con will host a Dragon Age panel, which will start on July the 25th. There will be voiceover talent signing and a fandom party. The next day, on July 26th, there will be a voiceover panel with the same people as from the day before. And then we will have dev team signing on July the 28th. So across all these days, there should be more information probably that we should be getting. Question is how much, because I'm guessing that everybody's trying to avoid major spoilers. So we'll see how much the voice actors are able to say, or whether the dev team will be talking about some of the topics, or they will just really do a signing session. So there's a big question mark. We'll see after the next week is over. And for me personally, there are two more things which are very questionable and where I would really love to hear some answers before we get the final game. And one of them is Varric. We know that Varric's Bianca will be most probably destroyed. We have seen it in the gameplay showcase, and that was the start of the game. So Varric is losing Bianca, his weapon for XYZ years, and then he's also not listed as a possible companion, and I'm guessing this is simply due to his age at this point. But then the question is, what role will he have during the game? How much will he be around? Will he be some sort of an advisor, and will he be available in the lighthouse, for example? Or do we only meet him at certain specific points in the game to move the game a little bit forward? I don't know. I have a lot of questions here, and I would love to hear more about Varric and his role in the game. And the next character where I am really curious about the role is Sandal. There were a lot of hints from the game devs and during the Q&A session, and also I've seen some tweets where people were asking about enchantments, and the replies were very, let's say, vague. So of course people got hyped up with enchantment. I'm hoping to see actually Sandal back in the game, and we'll see what role he will play and if he will be there. Whether we see him in the lighthouse, I'm not sure, because the lighthouse is in the Fate, so that would be kind of weird. But maybe somewhere else in the game's world, in some of the locations. So yeah, I'm hoping to see that one. It was a great character to interact with. Well, and that's all that we've got, at least at this point so far. I would love to read what your thoughts are on the details that we've got, whether there is something that piqued your interest and you're really looking forward to it, or whether there was something that you really don't find so enjoyable and you are not so fond of seeing that in the game. I would really love to read your comments and your thoughts, so please use that comment section below to give me some feedback on this vid. I would really appreciate it a lot. Thanks a lot for watching, stay tuned and game on!